So Abbas said that he's going to be about 30 minutes late. He's just leaving his meeting right now from work. Anyways, where's the questions at? I had a couple of questions for y'all.
This is like the irrelevant radio show. People that have not mattered to the game in 5 years.
Yeah, we're like the retirement people.
Dude, don't say that about yourself, man. I don't think that's true. I mean, you keep ruining the game with all these updates. I don't think you're like irrelevant.
It's been a while since there's been an update.
Yeah.
What is
it was low hanging fruit. I had to go for it.
That's one of my favorite things. That the narrative that all these shitty updates come out, and I'm like, very few updates come out. Sure, a lot of conversations happen, and people get very unhappy about them. But those changes don't really go to the game most of the time.
Or like ever.
Yeah, I did have one question about your updates. So, mostly with the controversy surrounding the military salvage.
I mean, so here's the thing with those sort of, not every project is supposed to be like, you have to have this project to be relevant, or this is so powerful. There's supposed to be some that are more niche, or if people are just, they have fucking 50,000 infrastructure, so they don't know what to spend their project slots on. You got something for them too. But it's always easier to make something better than it is to make something worse after you've introduced it. So.
All right, so let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and begin. There is no fancy intro or anything like that, unless Kev and Pika want to sing for me again. So just let the listeners know right now that Abbas will be here in about 30 minutes. And there is a little fun fact here that back in the day, during my prime, I guess you would say, one of the reasons why I started this radio show is because I thoroughly enjoyed Prefontaine's and Abbas's own radio show. That was like one of my favorite radio shows for the game. And I figured, well, I wonder if I could do something to follow up with that. And that was one of the main reasons why I was encouraged to start the Great Fire back in the day. So fun fact with that. Yeah, Prefontaine and Abbas had their own radio show. It was actually pretty chill, although Abbas wouldn't shut the fuck up sometimes. So, for those of you who aren't in the know, Prefontaine is an old player. He's older than, well, not older in age than me, but he's older than me in the game. I think you started, back in 2014, if I remember correctly?
I don't keep track of the time. It was before Speed Round, the last couple months of the, actual alpha.
Yeah. And he has jumped through many, many alliances, and he's always managed to help make those alliances relevant, whether it's through his own leadership or through his advice of helping out that alliance. And he's always been through some controversy, some good, some bad. And now he is a moderator and a game tester for Politics and War. So he's done pretty much everything. He's a big name. He's actually my number 2 or close to number 1 on the most influential players of the game in its entirety, not just recently, but in its entirety. And Abbas is the other player that I think is one of the most influential players in the game. Not a lot of people know all of his contributions, but the people that were in the know exactly just how far deep the rabbit hole goes with Abbas. So it's always been pretty interesting playing with these two back in the day, both as villains and as allies.
Fun fact, I probably wouldn't have gotten too involved in the game had it not been for Abbas fucking up with Guardian.
And I will also warn you guys, listeners, that when Abbas joins in the show, he won't shut up. All right, so you will hear a lot of bickering for me to tell him to shut up so that we can actually talk. That is one of his things. He loves to talk. All right, so I guess I'm just going to go ahead and knock out that big question out of the way about the controversy surrounding the military salvage and your perspective out of the like how we have to have like some mediocre or trash projects in the game. Like, what's the purpose behind that instead of just making every project good, so to speak?
There's different perspectives on good. It's all based on standpoint. Some people value certain builds, some people value others. So some people, one of the largest asked for things was something to let you get back some of the resources from a fight. Now, obviously, this is not necessarily the version people wanted, and I don't know if this is like a highly controversial thing. I imagine most of the threads I've started in the last month have been more controversial. But, you know, like I said, it's more easy to improve something than it is to nerf something. People are usually happier to see something buffed versus something taken away. So that's the current mindset. We're going to look at seeing how many people actually use it over 6 months. The idea was to start small with it because we didn't want too much resources coming back for war. Right now, war is not the greatest resource sink for aluminum and steel because most people don't fight back, which is one thing that's trying to be worked on with the beige changes. At least have the option of getting a rebuild period, an actual meaningful one. But whether that actually makes people want to try to fight back, it will, again, have to see.
So you mentioned about like buffing, like giving it some time to see how players use it or don't use it, and then adjusting it appropriately according to that. Does that mean other projects are also on that slate to get nerfed or buffed? And if so, would the resources for those projects adjust accordingly to the power scale of that project?
I'll typically speak. There's nothing currently on the docket. The only real project that I'd be looking at improving, it would likely be that one, or maybe a few of the other ones that are a little less good. Like maybe could look at the land benefit one. You know, a couple of ones. Just basically see which projects are at. Actually, no, the pirate one. That's probably one that would be improved second on the list. But typically speaking, when you improve something, you'll increase the cost, sure, if it needs to be. Depends on what the changes are. But you're not going to punish the people who got it early by making them have to pay more. But usually the reverse is opposite. So let's say you make something that's strong a little weaker. There's usually some refund to a degree for the players that invested in the large thing. The biggest example of that would be spy satellite. People always mentioned if there's a major change to it, that they would want some sort of refund for it. So there's that is more of a possibility. And we definitely want to punish people that bought it when it was a shitty project for the ones that got upgraded.
I'm actually really glad to hear that because like that was gonna be my follow-up question with the resource adjustment. Like if people, I understand that people that already have the project, that they're grandfathered into having that project, therefore no extra charge or anything like that. But if it got nerfed, if there would be a resource like refund, so to speak, I would hope that would be the policy moving forward if a nerf happens. But I mean, again, I don't think to me people would cry foul, I guess, unless it was like a significant adjustment. So what? So moving on from that, because you had a really good. I really appreciate the answer for that. All of that really gives me personally gives me insight as to how you guys look at things. But looking at you as a player, like, was there anything else, like, or have you looked at yourself like at your history in the game and go, hey, I could have done this better, or I should have done this instead? Like, is there anything in your grand history of spending your time in the game?
I mean, I basically did all the things I wanted to do. I don't know if anyone else has made an alliance the number one total score and number 1 average score at the same time. I did it twice with Guardian and Test. That was like that was one of the first goals. So I did that twice. Then to also basically do what Test did for the year that I was in charge of it. That was ideally what I wanted to do. I wanted to take a sphere to the top. I did that very early. Guardian was really the first dominant sphere, and then shortly after I left, it crumbled. Apologies for people in Guardian that are listening. But the things that I could do differently, the end of Test. The plan was to have it split up. I went a little too troll heavy. It was a bit of a dick. So I would do that differently, if anything.
I remember that time all too well. Yeah, you and I had some words back then. But I would like to think that we talked it through and then we moved on from that. So that was pretty good. What do you still stay in touch with all those old Test players?
Those Test players aren't really in any game. Once in a great while, one of them will pop into one of the secluded channels in the old Terminus S Discord. But I mean, a lot of them were kind of on their way out around the time that Test was rising under me. There weren't that many originals. And I mean, that group was largely held together by their core 3 people, Jodo, El Pinchazo, and Finey. Once they were gone, there was no real anchor. I'm sure a few people popped in and out. But I mean, that group was real close. I met Jodo in real life. I've slept on El Pinchazo's couch and met his wife. And, I've been to most of the people that were in Test that were in the Northeast, I got to meet. So that group was very different. It didn't matter what game they were playing. And so they didn't really like politics and war that much. So they didn't really stay long.
Well, I mean, they stayed quite a bit, though. I mean, let's see here. I joined in back in 2015, and they didn't leave until the late part of 2016, something like that.
It's 6 years ago, buddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still old, so. You were also the first person to make a mini sphere, weren't you? With the ARG and Rosway.
I mean, kind of. When you were in Mensa, right? When you first came up?
Yep.
Pfeiffer really wanted to join the Guardian little sphere at the time, but I never really wanted Guardian sphere to get too big, and adding a really competent alliance would make us a little too strong. I'm very much against the idea of too many good players on one side, and I liked that Syndicate was, good players, good up-and-coming players. Mensa was good up-and-coming players. And me not really letting you guys into our little club let you guys make your own club and created this own competent, dominant, soon-to-be dominant sphere. And eventually you guys teamed up with Guardian too. But, I don't like seeing too many good players on the same side, too many competent politic players on the same side, because it makes the politics uninteresting. I don't want to be playing games against people that aren't nearly as good as me in the political theater, because it's just not a fun game to play. It's you can only beat up on poor little UPN so many times.
Dude, UPN got trashed so many times. It's the same with Rose. I actually followed that mindset back when I led the Golden Horde. The first initial plan was just to be mercenaries, and then the second plan, since that fell through, was to try to ally up with irrelevant alliances, people that are just struggling, that have no chance of getting up there without any kind of help. But that also fell through. I should have known better on that one. But even then, when I helped create Ketog, I wanted to just keep it small but efficient, and I think I achieved that pretty nicely, considering. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that mindset that when you're leading an alliance, you really have to look at the longevity of the game for your own members. So like, you got to make things interesting. Can't make things boring and easy. You got to keep it challenging in order to, just keep people logging into the game and stuff like that. What are your future goals? Like, are you just sticking around for moderating the game and just working on projects, or are you planning on hopping back into the politics of the game, or what's up?
I probably will never get back in the politics game. I didn't plan on it to even come back really after test, but INH, insert name here, kind of convinced me at a moment that I was feeling nostalgia for the politics in these sort of games. And he was like, hey, EMC sucks. They've been strangling the life out of the game. Do you want to come back, reform, test, and make a plan to overthrow them? And I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. And there was a lot of long time planning that went in. It started with getting Ripper and Spaceology involved first, and we kept talking about it very loosely. It was like, hey, do you want to team up? Yeah. Who would you want to fight? And we'd say things like the side that is never lost, just because no one wanted to say the name in case the other one was going to fuck the other one over by providing information. And then it expanded to, okay, Quentin trusted me because he was kind of on the outs around Test's downfall, and he really wanted to help Test, but NPO was too small back then. So we kind of bonded over the stagnation that was going to form when the vacuum of Test went away, because we were the only wild card left after EMC sort of won the bipolar era. So then we got stomped, and there was no real threat to EMC for a long time, and NPO was forced into that figurehead role, kind of as the only group that could try to stand up to him eventually. And Partisan and I have a long history. And once I found out he was interested in the possibility of taking down his former creation in a way, it was just a matter of then we had all the pieces we need to really kick the shit out of EMC.
Yeah. What do you think about? Do you stay in touch with the politics right now?
I mean, from time to time, people will bring things to my attention. I try not to get too heavily involved. Main reason I don't think I'll ever get involved again is because my focus is on the game design stuff. So one of my biggest complaints as a player for a very long time was that a lot of these communities are self-moderated, and there's always someone involved in the politics of things that has some say or some power or some channel to the admin, and they're always, it feels like, lobbying for some sort of edge too. There's always going to be that bias. And I mean, even after I just basically sat in Yar, anytime I made a change, people were like, oh, you're just trying to help the whales. I'm like, I'm not even fucking playing the game anymore. And I went into Guardian because people were like, oh, you don't get any fighting. And I was like, I saw Guardian's political situation, and I was like, shit, Guardian is about to be on the wrong end of the next war. I'm going to go join them and fight a losing war and just see how I do. And I ended up topping the damage charts for their side for like the first 75% of the war. And then I just went into the admin alliance to answer the question, why not sell all my cities? I sold all my infrastructure, all my improvements, all my military. HOF actually started attacking me while I was selling everything off. Like, I zeroed out my military and I started getting my infrastructure down, and they're like, oh, look, we attacked him and he sold off all the stuff. I'm like, I was literally in the fucking process. I don't know why people are checking my goddamn nation so often. And why not sell my cities? Because why bother? What really do I need to go down to one city to make people think I care about my fucking nation anymore and I want to defend it?
To be honest, I wouldn't sell your cities. I mean, just on the very, very off chance that you decide to play again, I mean, it's just.
The only thing in my nation is 100 credits. That is all that's in my nation. I was actually able to sell everything, and I just put it all into credits. I have literally just 100 credits sitting in my account.
Jesus, dude, that's a lot. The reason why I was asking if you keep up with the politics, and I'll get to addressing how you answered that, because you do make some really good points about that, especially in the past. Like, holy crap, that was a huge issue. And I think now that I think about it, I think only you and Ripper have not really hidden your moderator position. I think everybody else did. Like they tried to hide it pretty hard. And that was like one of the biggest things that I argued way back in the day was like, remove the sorry, I'm having a brain fart. The anonymous perspective of that, like so that players know who is the moderators and stuff like that in the game. But yeah, anyways, moving on.
I'm going to pretend that I'm running the dev team or design team and that I don't have any sort of influence on that sort of stuff. Like, this just be disingenuous. And, I very rarely moderate outside of what I've said I'm going to do now. And I basically only pay attention to that one section of the forums. So.
I mean, like, back when Mensa was around, there was like a huge issue because if I remember correctly, Underlord was one of the moderators and he unfairly modded some players that were against PN at one point in time. And that was a huge issue with the moderators on the forums itself. I mean, I'm not sitting there saying that you moderate people on the forums, but I mean, considering that you're part of that crowd, I mean, like one could expect you to be a moderator at the same time too. I think you just like do hands off though, because I don't think you ever actually did moderated anybody.
I've never given any warning points. I've hidden posts that are offensive in the game discussion section a couple times. I've moved some things that are off topic or in the wrong section. If anything, if I feel something is a harassment issue, I'll just issue a warning ticket. Like I'll send it to the mod team and they can go review it. The people that there's a few people that are paid to review those things that aren't involved with the game, and they can take care of that. I don't like to get involved with the player base on policing stuff. So
yeah.
And one thing too, someone who said something about giving them a credit. I give credits out to random people for good suggestions on the forums, for polite posts. I typically try to do it for people who aren't that active in the forum community, just as a little carrot of, hey, look, you participated in the community. You seem like you don't do that very often. You said something good, even though I kind of said, no, we're not going to do this. But here's a credit for the game. Have fun.
Please quit bashing on the dev team forum posts. Oh yeah, I mean, like, I agree with that. Like, bashing on a dev team isn't a very productive thing.
It's easy to do. It's faceless internet, name calling. Try doing it in a radio show to my face right now. It's not nearly as comfortable of a thing to do when you get to hear my voice right back at you. And you have
it was like
without being able to structure it and think, you have to say it in the moment.
It was like when people made that military salvage criticism on the boards, and I was like, well, where's your suggestion? Like, if you're going to criticize something, have a suggestion to back it up. Get into like some kind of thoughtful debate about it. Don't sit there and be a little bitch about it.
I don't have to worry about people complaining that I do moderation stuff. I get enough hate as is, so I'm good.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of things to hate Prefontaine for. So, on a lighthearted note, you told me that this would be a good time for you to show up on the show because it'll give you time to get a drink. So, what are you drinking, good sir?
I am drinking Blanton's on the rocks.
Okay. See, I lately have been getting into some gin, so I made myself a Tom Collins. Have you ever had that?
I used to be a bartender. Yeah, I've had a lot of the... I never had the train noises. That was Shellhound, I think. I had the train noises. But yeah, I used to be a bartender. I've had a lot of the general, like, if it's a commonly named drink, I've probably had it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've been getting into gin pretty hard and never had a Tom Collins, so I looked it up and mixed it up, and it's a pretty damn good drink. Like, it's like it doesn't taste like a summer shandy, but it reminds me, like, it has that cool, crisp, like, relaxing flavor to it.
Not a big gin or tequila fan. Tequila is, if you give it to me, I want to throw it at you.
Oh, dude, tequila is like my favorite.
Yeah, so you're a terrible person. I like bourbons and whiskeys.
I got a single barrel whiskey upstairs in my bar right now. I haven't opened it up yet. I've had it for about 5 years now. So
If you ever aren't afraid to spend a pretty penny, try Blanton's. Seriously, outside of like the extremely expensive shit, because Blanton's is like that high end middle. You know, it's expensive, but it's not like the stuff that you put under lock and fucking key. You know, it is probably the best, smoothest, nicest sipping bourbon I've ever had.
okay, I'll definitely look it up and try it out.
Free, did you say you were a bartender?
Yeah, I did that for a couple of years when I had no fucking clue what to do with my life in my 20s, like most people.
Bureau, can I do a quick game show?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, let's play. Do you know what that drink is? And you have to tell us what's inside of the drink. Okay, Pri?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Awesome. What is a snake bite?
Dude, I haven't heard of that in a fucking long time. Shit. That one, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, for everyone you get right, you get to implement one of your suggestions on the game. What is a Vegas bomb?
Isn't it something with Crown Royale and schnapps? I don't remember what else is in it. It's pineapple
It's
juice?
a bomb. What's in a bomb?
You
all
usually
bombs
drop a
have
shot.
the same-
You drop a shot and
No. Well, okay, but what's Mr. Bartender for many years?
You had one thing right. You had one thing
did.
right about it.
Crown.
Crown Royale
Yes.
and fucking Red Bull.
Yes.
Okay, that's two. You're missing one little thing. One more thing. It's a
cranberry juice or pineapple juice.
Oh my gosh, he's so close.
One of those two, isn't it?
No. I mean, you have the second word of your guess is
orange
correct.
Orange juice. Okay.
Okay. Final. Botched abortion. What's in that?
Oh
shot?
God, I haven't heard that one in a long time.
What the fuck what do you drink? Like what? I'm gonna guess it's got absinthe in it. Well, let's just go with absinthe because that sounds like it should have absinthe in it.
I just made it up. So I'm curious because Bureau said he's had one before. So do you mean like
a botched abortion?
Like, were you have some stories?
Wait, hold on. Did you really say that you just made up a botched abortion?
Yeah, as a drink? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Crown Royal, coffee liqueur, and something else. I can't remember what else it is.
It's got to be
lawsuit, botched abortion drink. Here we go.
It's got to be served in one of those martini
glasses
with like the coat hanger. Like
I told you, I've had it before, man. I wasn't lying. I do drink.
What was it? Something that really caught your eye? I'll take one of those.
I thought it was absinthe, and I drank it, and I was like, "Wait, this doesn't taste like absinthe at all." So, and then like the bartender told me it was called a botched abortion, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck? That's kind of a twisted name."
Man, that is wild in here. I thought I was just clever, but nice. Bureau wins. Bureau, you get to implement 3 ideas onto the game.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
Oh, here. While he's doing whatever, hopefully not a botched abortion. Prefontaine, what's in a slippery nipple?
Oh, that's your basic bitch white girl shot. So schnapps is definitely in that one.
So
are you going for like the full fancy effect or just like the generic one? Because it's just like because there's a schnapps version and there's like the Sambuca Irish cream and grenadine option. So there's a few different ways to make it depending on where you are, but there's a peach schnapps version too.
It's a regional thing. I love regional words. You know, you have like soda and pop, and then you also have like slippery nipple, and then also slippery nipple, depending on which region you're in.
It's not
Good,
soda
wholesome
or
fun.
pop, it's Coke.
Yeah,
All right?
just like there's the redheaded slut, the slow screw up against the wall, the blowjob, the Windex. There's all sorts of those fun like white girl. We're on our not bachelorette party night kind of shit.
Do you know how to make a hoobastank grease?
I don't want to know how to make that.
No, you don't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, back to the show.
That was a nice little break. I told Abbas should be showing up any moment now. He said he was. Anyways. All right, so let's see here. Decagon said something earlier I wanted to address. Where was it? Not heard of you before until maybe a few weeks ago. Do you look at the current stage of alliances, leaders, players, move makers, and have any thoughts, comments, etc. on it? Okay, so in regards to Hollywood, like I really, really, really appreciated the Hollywood sphere breaking up. I thought, like when I look back on their history, and keep in mind I was gone, I was like retired from the game. But when Mindsome posted up the history of the Hollywood sphere, and I saw how stable it was for such a long time, I was sitting there going, all right, that needs to break up. Like, I'm a big fan of shaking things up. Like if you get to the point to where your sphere is too stable, like, and you're just too content, too comfortable, then it gets boring. At least in my eyes, it just gets boring. So when Hollywood announced their split up and everything, I really, really appreciated that. I really did. Doesn't mean that I will stay with Guardian personally. Myself, I got plans to do in the game in the future myself. But right now, I'm just looking at what Celestial's doing and what Clock is going to do with the absence of Cataclysm. So it's an interesting game right now, depending on how the leaders of the current alliances make their moves. Clock dead. Now, in regards to the leaks, like I'm not too surprised
about those.
What's up?
I have something to say about those. The one of the things you hear a lot in these kind of games, especially when they've been around for a while, like you heard it in Cybernations or Loon Wars, like I miss the good old days. So in the old days, leaks like this would have been actually weaponized. Right now, it feels like anytime there's a leak, it just gets posted on one of these news or radio fucking channels, and it just puts on blast for everyone. Like, in the early days of this game, that sort of shit would have been discreetly told to the people that could have used it against the side to destroy it. Like, those logs would have been dumped in a declaration of war message from whoever's going to act upon it, and that's when the game would have got to see it and would have made the war more meaningful. It would have made all that shit more momentous because all that information drops for everyone in that moment. So that's one of the things I miss about the game then versus now. Like the just sensationalism around it, the need to just spam information out on the news networks rather than actually seeing it used for calculated political moves. That's the main difference I see from then versus now.
That is actually a really good point that I didn't even think about because, yeah, like back in the day, like just as Prefontaine said, when the leaks happened, they would be sent privately to somebody, and then they would militarize and then post up as a declaration of war. Like no one else would know anything about it until that declaration of war happened, and it would be used as a CB, and everybody would be going like, "Oh, hey, that's a proper CB," and blah 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 and stuff like that. But now it just seems like everybody wants to. It seems like ever since Shifty started leaking logs, like
Let's
a couple of years back,
get famous for our leaks and get upvotes. Yay!
Yeah, gotta get that attention. So, So in reply to your question, Decagon, yeah, like the times have changed. Like, I mean, back then, like as Prefontaine stated, like war had a lot more meaning when the leaks were posted as a declaration of war, because everybody then got really invested. But now you saw that Sweet Ronnie D posted up those leaks and said, "Hey, what's up, Celestial? What's going on?" And then crickets. Like people had that popcorn, and then crickets. No war, nothing. Like it's just what's going on. So it's like so quiet. And it like I replied to that thread saying they're going like the fact that TKR or Grumpy and Guardian didn't like react to that, didn't like just blitz Syndicate and Rose for that leak. That shows a lot of restraint, but as you know, I have to agree with Prefontaine on this. It also shows kind of like, I mean, to me, it kind of shows a sign of weakness too. If I was leading an alliance, I would have blitzed. I would have been militarized in 2-3 days and then blitzed right into it. Just would have been like, all right, you want round 2? Here we go. Yeah, TKR is busy. Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, Guardian and Grumpy's not. So.
Kudos to Hand of Fate for being the kind of alliance games like this need. But good luck in about a year when the game decides they're sick of you.
Yeah, like how when Test rallied up with Arg and Rosway, and then like basically the whole game got tired of y'all.
Yeah, it was 1,050 versus 150.
Oh God, I felt so bad about that time. Like I remember when Pfeiffer and the Mensa crew were talking about it, and I was like, man, this is just too fucking boring. I mean, like, what's the fucking point? Like, what are we gonna do?
The best thing about that war is when the fortify mechanic was wonky, so you could never lose a war if you didn't want to. So because of that, I ended up making so much money from the one ship beige meta.
Oh yeah, because no one built ships. It was like no one built ships at all. They would just like spam fortify, increase their resistance. So like back in the day, when you fortified, you had an increase of like 10 or 20 resistance, something like that. It wasn't like it increased the defenses of your units or increased the attrition or whatever. It just increased your resistance so that you could stay in the battle longer for some odd reason. And then, as Prefontaine said, like he would just do the one ship beige mechanic because at the time, ships were not in the meta. No one built ships; they were just too expensive. So you just have one ship and go declare war on a bunch of battles on people that didn't have any ships, and you would just in between your fortify, just attack them with one ship and beige them. And you couldn't get looted because you just kept fortifying. It was a really crazy mechanic. I think the only way how you could get beiged was by nukes at that time, right?
Yeah, if you got hit with 4 nukes.
Was there actually? Hey, so Decagon made a statement about like
Right.
hitting people like during a rebuild or after a rebuild. Didn't that happen before? Like in the past, didn't we do that? Like chain wars back to back.
I mean, Test got chained after Papers, Please while we were trying to dissolve by SK. Like we were literally figuring out who's going where, and like they just hit us. And we're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we're literally disbanding in 2 days. Like, I'll stay in the alliance if you want to keep punching me because I'm going away.
I remember that shit. It was kind of like, oh, they want terms. It was like, what fucking terms could you get from them?
All right, our terms we disband, and you have forever beaten us. Good job.
All right, so what incarnation of Test do you think has done the best?
Had the most fun or had the most success? Which determination for best are you looking at?
Let's go with 2 answers. Let's do an answer for each one.
So El Pinchazo and Jodo's in the beginning had the most success in terms of being in part of the sphere that was in control, and then they also kind of got out before it turned against them. They left Guardian and such during that war where Shellhound and SK were going to try to backstab Rose.
Oh yeah.
And then I think test that had the most fun was the test under me.
I kind of miss I kind of miss Finey, like having those political discussions with Tenages and Impero on the forums. Those are pretty interesting days.
Yeah, because Finey, even though on their side, wasn't against coming out and saying you're a fucking idiot, and this is why.
Yeah. And like I really do miss him as a player, because he was actually one of my favorite players to see respond to some of the big leaders in the game. Like Tess wasn't big at all, but yet they carried their weight to where no one would really want to mess with them. And he exercised that pretty well on the boards for his alliance. I really did admire him for that. And that was like when I first started. I was like, "Who's this guy? This guy's pretty fucking awesome."
So I joined Test after my little raiding spree as Judge Dredd, with the intent of I just want to be a member. I just want to sit back and watch and be ordered around rather than having to steer the ship. And then within like 2 weeks, El Pinchaz was like, "Yeah, I'm done playing this shit. You want to be in charge?" I'm like, fuck. I was like, "What about Finey?" And they're like, "No, Finey doesn't want to." I was like, "I'll do it if Finey's my number 2." And then he signed on for that, and that's what started that, because I wanted someone with test roots, and also I respected the shit out of Finey.
Oh, that reminds me, with the Judge Dredd remark, you had another player. There was a brief moment in your history where you went into a one-man alliance, but you had one other player eventually join you that was also a big name, and I can't remember his name because
Malone.
Who was it?
Malone, Mikey Malone.
Oh, Malone. Yeah, that's right. Whatever happened to him? Is he still? Did he ever finish that game that he was making?
No one finishes their game. No, I think he got sucked into the real world. Like, random little weird story. I loaned him like a couple $1,000.
Oh no,
dude I never met. He paid me back, 100% paid me back, but it was to help cover his school tuition. So he got his degree and started getting a good job. So
oh shit.
Yeah, random. Yeah, I gave some stranger on the internet some money, and he actually gave it back to me. So it was cool.
Idiot.
Yeah, I know, but I trust my reads on people. I've got a pretty good skill with that, between bartending, professional poker playing, law enforcement work. So like I get pretty good reads on people.
Kids, don't do that at home.
Yeah, don't get reads on people. Just trust them blindly.
If you guys in the audience have any questions, feel free to ask. We're just going to be chit-chatting back and forth about random bullshit now. Because like just talking to Pre is like making me go down nostalgia road right here, and I'm sitting there going like fucking remembering him and Malone in a two-man alliance just doing Judge Dredd bullshit. That's
so the reason why we were able to get away with it. It was at a point in the game where tanks were stupid fucking expensive compared to everything else. And so even alliances would not have people go to war with full tanks. And tanks were actually stupid powerful if you could control ground and not worry about anything with that. So what would happen is, because ground used to make your Air Force a third less useful for ground control, or something to that. It was either half or a third at the time. I don't remember which. And so I just spent a month before I left Guardian stocking up steel. And I went to full 100% military. It's the first time anyone did that and fought. And I went around and hit everyone that I could with the treasure. Ended up getting 6 treasures in my nation, and no one could fucking stop me. until like all of Rose decided, okay, we're going to pour resources into Pub Stomper and Adama, and they're going to try to take me out. And then when they did, Tess stepped in.
like, Jesus, dude.
Fuck you for ruining his fun.
Oh my God, treasures! Like that was pretty crazy. Like, because like back in the day, like hunting for treasures actually means something, because it was a pretty significant boost if you collected quite a few. Like Treasure Island got treasures nerfed. You remember that shit?
Yeah. One thing about Treasure Island, shortly after they started and announced we're only doing this until this date, And I messaged I think either Adrienne or no, I think Jessica Rabbit. I messaged and I was like, so is that the day you're gonna hit test? And she got real fucking flustered because that was the fucking plan, basically. And I'm like, because that's what I would do in your spot.
Yeah. She was sitting there trying to get all the treasures, man. Got to collect them all. Because there was no cap on the bonus at the time. There was none.
Nope.
Is Abbas not coming on?
He's freaking sorry. Probably need 15 more minutes.
How long ago was that?
6 minutes ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I got him on Facebook. He's like one of the few politics and war players that I friended on Facebook. Oh, Jesus Christ, all the treasures. Oh, so, all right. So speaking of about, hold on 1 second. So Lord of Puns had a question about the spies. He said, when are you deleting spies? I'm pretty sure that's cheeky. But the spy change, what are your thoughts behind that?
I mean, the games, Alex, when I talked to him, I don't even know how long ago this fucking conversation was. The general consensus is beige doesn't work as intended. We want meaningful windows for people to be able to get back on their feet after they're defeated. So then the concept becomes, what does that look like? And that's really what the dev team's been working on. And the spy thing has been something that I've been talking about for a very long time. It's what kind of started the idea of being able to have banked military that you can then deploy at once or have reserves. But it started with the core of being able to build spies that can't be destroyed, and they're not active. They don't defend, they don't attack, and then you can move them to active mode. So it lets people rebuild spies because it's way too easy to hold anyone down that you don't want to have spies ever again.
That is true. Do you think that players should have access to that data about like how many spies an opposing player has?
There's a few comments. I forget who made what line, but it's something along the effect of, I like having spy intel ops be a little more meaningful. So let's say you're in an alliance and you perform a successful spy op on someone in an enemy alliance, then everyone in your alliance for X number of turns can see that spy info. I like that idea. Someone threw that around. How easy that is to code and implement, I don't know. But with spy, like one of the next projects is probably going to come out is one that just gives you 2 free spy intel ops. So you buy the project and you can just do 2 extra ops, and they're going to be spy intel. And then if we can combine that with the making the intel a little more meaningful, so we'll kind of do a little buff on that. Is the general idea.
Will that also, like, if that project comes out, will you all try to eliminate the bots that basically ping the server to do the spy test?
The goal is to have that be the case. I think one of the things I'm going to push for is just the pure removal of odds of success. I think if anything should go, that should go. So there's just no real meaningful intel on that to be able to calculate. And then we just need to find out, we need to consider what intel is the bot targeting, and then find out how to either remove the need to target it or make it so that targeting is pointless because there's way more efficient ways to do that.
Yeah, because I agree with that perspective, because like when you made a post about the spies, about how the server got slowed down due to constant data pings for spy chances and stuff like that to determine how many spies a player has, I was sitting there going like, all right, that's very detrimental for the game, not because of the information being pulled, but the stress on the server. Like that, someone could, I guess, sudo DDoS the server that way, you know, and then that's not a very stable, I guess, game at that point.
Welcome to Alex Code.
Yeah. And I see that he still has that habit of making changes during a war too. Jesus.
Oh yeah, that I honestly the whole map notification change system, that was news to me. To be fair, I was on vacation and out of town for like a week or something like that. I don't know if he talked about it with other people, but that's one of those ones that kind of came out of the blue for me even. And I'm not trying to shit on Alex. He does occasionally, he gets this idea in his head and he thinks it's a great idea, whether it is or isn't. And really wants to he gets sudden motivation and really wants to work on it. That's how Treasures came into existence. One night we were all chatting in either Discord or MIRC, depending on which point in the game it was. We're like, hey, what about this thing? And he's like, that's a fucking great idea. People are going to go to war over these treasures. It'll be amazing. And then he coded them and implemented them that night with no more further thought. Like sometimes that's what he does. And that's why I wanted to create this design team. So there was more give and take. And the real catalyst was, I think, him changing or completely removing beige suddenly. Like after that, I was like, this needs to fucking stop. So let's create a process. That process being, you have to run your changes through me. I will then put the changes through my filter and then put them to the game. And the game will give some feedback, and we'll then look at how that feedback looks compared to what your original image or idea for it was and what my thoughts were. And then we can kind of create a better result rather than knee-jerk reactions. And over time, I really feel like we've made success on that. You'll still hear people, like I started off in the beginning, talking about how there's that narrative that, oh, we're just pushing through content no one fucking wants. Outside of maybe the baseball change, because a lot of people were unhappy because they were using baseball, that it got nerfed, and maybe the fact that credit caps increased because some people thought it made it more pay to win. I think outside of those two relatively small changes, there's not been a change that's been widely hated that's come out.
And yeah, because I remember back in the day, back when there was like Paragon versus Cindy Sphere, there was a lot of wars going on, and it was like every single war that happened, Alex would put in a big change. Like he would change nukes, he would change beige, he would change fortify. Like he would. There was like a lot of big changes that affected the war itself, and so if you were on the losing side, you got pretty much fucked over even more. And then I think after some time, he addressed that. He was like, very apologetic about it. He made a really good conscious effort to not implement big changes before a war or during a war. And I remember like towards the tail end of my prime years before I went to retirement that I can't recall him making a change during a big conflict. Like he always waited until the conflict ended before putting that change in. So at that time, it was pretty nice. I just find it. I personally just found it amusing that in this previous big war between Celestial and Hollywood, that there was a change that got pushed through, and I was like, oh well, we're going back to 2015-16 here, and just kind of laughed about it.
Yeah, I made that one thread saying, hey, like, are people okay with these non-war implemented things coming through? Because we were literally gonna, I think, release them the weekend that the war started. And then we're like, oh, we don't want to do this. We don't want to risk breaking something while the Blitz is going on or while the really important rounds of the war are going on. Once it's kind of gone into autopilot beige cycling, we're a little less worried about something getting fucky. But you don't want to change. We didn't want to implement the naval changes mid-war because that affects combat in some sense. But like I said, the map thing came out of left field for me. So I have no defense of that because I have no knowledge of it.
All right, so
it's been 15 minutes.
I know. I am like sitting here like
Abbas was just trolling you, dude. He's not showing up.
Yeah, I'm ripping into him right now, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm coming." Yeah, okay.
Did you ever hear about the breaking politics and war post, the Abbas cheating scandal that basically like made Guardian implode? Did you ever read that?
Was that the one that
Princess Bubblegum?
Yeah. Oh man, that was a fucking wild story. Is there a link to that? Is that still up?
I saw it recently. Someone posted it. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, that's a story that all the new players need to read because it was like some crazy shit that happened in the past. But
the scandal basically caused all of the current Guardian leadership to either be branded as cheaters or quit Guardian. I think Kigaz was a leader of Guardian at the time. And all like the old guard, the people that are currently leading Memphis Synthesis and that sort of crew really didn't want or maybe were unable to put time into the game. And I was like, okay, like here I am in a little group with Malone and I think Shellhound even at the time called the Light Federation, where we were pretending not to be cultists and telling everyone, no, yeah, come, we'll be our friend. We're nice. Or no, it wasn't the Light Federation. It was something with the light. Yeah, I forget the name of it.
The Light Federation.
No, we were something. No, this is before any of the Light Federation currently was playing. We were role playing as a cult that was worshiping the light. We were just being silly and trying to invite people over for punch and pie. But then I saw Guardian imploded, and I was the leader of Guardian back in Lunar Wars. I was one of their leaders. And then I kind of carried them from game to game once Lunar Wars imploded, and we sort of left Lord Empires, also known as the game Guardian 1, because the admin had to start, like, they removed the quit the game button because they started trying to cheat so that the other side could beat us, and they wouldn't let us delete so they could get their comeuppance. So we just started doing things to get banned from the game. And then we went to Project Terra, and that's where I sort of left leading Guardian. And then I saw them kind of stumbling, and I was like, shit, let me step in, stabilize things, and then I'll fucking step away. And that's why I took over leading Guardian in the beginning of this round of Politics 4.
All right. I'm getting Abbas, and he's getting the link right now.
Good. I'm going to go get a drink while he talks for the next 3 hours.
Because you know he will. All right, take a 5-minute break, guys. We're going to take a 5-minute break while I get this situated with him. Been getting on his ass about it.
My favorite Abbas moment was him reacting to Charlie's photo.
Which photo was it?
The photo of there was writing written across someone's chest area.
I'm wondering if is this him? Let's see here. He said it's taken a while for him to load.
Doubt. Oh, there he is. He's in.
Oh, all right. Let's get him in this fucking chat.
Invite to speak. There he is.
Oh my god.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Now, do you have a proper mic, or are you going to kill our ears?
Who never replies to...
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, there he is.
Finally.
Abbas, how have you been, man? Long time.
I've been busy, man. I've been really busy. How have you been?
Good. Busy too. Probably not as busy as you, but busy.
Yeah. Today was one heck of a day, and then I got busy in a meeting just now, and now finally I got on. Still using DS, so I might be cutting on and off, but should be good.
Mr. 15 minutes. Give me 15 minutes, I'm sorry.
Time is relative.
Time is relative, you know. Could be 15 minutes for me, it could be 15 minutes for someone else. I'm a brown person.
Like Bree got so bored that he had to go leave to make a drink because like you were just taking so long. Like we haven't even we were waiting on you the whole time. Like all these people, all 33 people that are still in the chat.
We haven't said a
There's
word.
only 33 people
for you.
There's only 33 people though?
Well, I mean we got up to like 41 at one point.
Your name doesn't carry as much fire as it once did.
I mean, like, people were waiting, dude. I can only entertain for so long, Abbas. I mean, Jesus, dude.
Charlie was in here. He was waiting to hear from you too.
Yeah.
You can post in PW chat. But, I mean, I hope someone pays attention.
So, hey, Abbas. So, when are you going to come back in the game?
Well, I mean, you technically did get me in the game just now.
Okay. All right.
point.
So are you going to make Rose relevant again?
I mean, that's I guess that's a conversation to have after the conversation here is done.
Like, you were literally missing a prime moment. You do know who Rose is allied to, right?
The Syndicate. I know this much.
You could work with your best buddy, Partisan.
Is Partisan playing right now?
Yes!
He's more of a joke with his former self.
I mean, that would work perfect with Abbas, though, Pre.
I've never taken Abbas seriously in this game, so.
That's not nice.
I mean, I can take that from Pre because Pre has literally seen me grow up, so it's fine. I can take that from Pre.
That's kind of creepy. Yeah, that's kind of creepy, dude.
He knows I joke because I care.
Yeah, I've been with Pre since I was probably 13 years old, and now
it's getting weirder.
I hear the police sirens, Pre. You might want to leave. Chris Hansen's going to show up.
24 now. I'm 24 now, bro. I'm 24 now, and the statute of limitations is over.
Abbas, blink twice if you need help.
Yeah, when did you join Guardian? Was it in Lord Empires?
No, it was like right after Lord Empires when you were still figuring out what game to go to, and PN was becoming
Project Terra.
It was like, yeah. Oh, PT, yes.
Yeah, and you had like 100 alt accounts to farm your nation up, right?
No, that wasn't me. That was Shellhound. I had the other thing. I had the Terra Grata cheat code for the land thing.
Oh, that's right. Shellhound was the one with all the multis. I remember that now. It's like right before he left, he admitted to it.
Hey, Abbas, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just I've been trying to get a hold of Abbas for like a year and a half, 2 years now, so I need to take this time. And I have to take off.
I mean, you gotta be at least Boer level to get a hold of me. Yeah.
I guess, yeah. All right. Well, okay, anyway, so question, Abbas. Do you remember the picture that Charlie posted of the writing across someone's chest? Because your reaction to that was my favorite moment in PNW.
I do remember that. I do remember Charlie's picture and my reaction.
Oh, I remember what you were talking about, Kev. When he wrote it across his girlfriend's chest.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And Abbas like flipped his shit.
Those are the biggest I have ever seen. It was so good.
They were.
Abbas says he hung out with me as a child, basically, and then someone says he sent them pics of his girlfriend's tits, and that's completely normal. That's normal.
It was it was like one of those late night after shows, and like me, Charlie, Kev, and Abbas, we were just bullshitting, and then Charlie, of course, was drunk, if I remember. I think we were all drinking that night, and Charlie was just fascinated with Abbas, and so he said that he was going to write a message across his girlfriend's chest and send a picture to Abbas. And then, like when he sent that picture, Abbas was like, "Oh my God, those are the biggest tits I've ever seen!" Like, he just lost his shit about it. It was fucking great.
It was back when Abbas was 14. I'm just kidding.
You guys are saying this story as if like that was not the biggest hits you all had not seen.
They weren't.
They were pretty big hits.
I'm not gonna lie, they were.
And then right after that, didn't he recreate the John Lennon cover art on?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Actually,
that was my suggestion. I was like, hey, how about you recreate that cover art? And he did. It was so good.
that cover art was actually like on my previous laptop. Like on that laptop, it would like save all the files that would get like on pictures on Discord, and it saved that file. I literally backed it up onto my cloud. And now I can't get rid of that picture.
I should make it your desktop background at work.
Hi dude said, anyone remember Castor's dick pics? And I'm going to tell you right now, I wish I didn't remember.
I have never seen.
Oh my god! Like
I never opened images from Castor, and I have gotten Castor in trouble quite a bunch of times because he has been reported for in real life harassment multiple times. In fact, Pub's aunt even went to his mom and told him that this guy sends dick pics to once.
Dude, he sent them to Lordship asking for advice on something. Prefontaine stated, like medical advice. And then he also sent a bunch to Queen Elm. And there was like one other player that he sent a bunch to, like over. Who was it?
So Tim Armstrong actually called someone's mom on Castor. That's great.
Because
Tim did that.
Castor's mom on Castor.
Nice, good.
Yeah, Tim was Pub's aunt.
Tim Armstrong contacted Castor's mother about what he was doing.
No kidding. Huh.
It was very interesting because when I had both Castor and Tim Armstrong and the Golden Horde, there was a chat about that. They had a come to Jesus moment, and it was like to me, not knowing the context of it, I was like, "What the fuck is going on in my Alliance chat?" And then eventually Tim explained it, and Castor said, like, yeah, I was being a total douche, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, when are you not? I mean...
Yeah, that summarizes Castor's entire history with this community.
That's like both the annoying and the entertaining thing about you at the same time. I kind of miss the guy. I need to contact him sometime.
You'll regret it.
Yeah, just be careful on what pictures he sends. Open carefully.
Yo, he found my Snapchat. And I did not know what his name actually is on Snapchat. So he was like trying to send me, and I usually never take like look at images from people that I don't know. So this seemed like a wide enough name that I thought it's pretty kosher. I can just take a look. And it was Castor's head only. It was just his head, like his hair head. And then I was like, oh, okay. So, and then he bragged that he was sending me a Snapchat. Then I blocked him immediately. Then he added me into, like, he got someone like George, I guess, or someone to add me to a Snapchat group chat. And then he started sending it in there. And then I got out of the group chat. And then, like, he's been, like, chasing around on Snapchat for a very long time. He stopped when he was in PGH, but the guy has some issues.
Yeah, he does. Like, I told him that one of the stipulations of him staying in the Alliance was to straighten his act, and for the most part, he did. But then he also had a couple of slip ups, obviously, especially with the whole racist shit that was going on. So, hey, to take a step back for a moment, Abbas, I did have a question for you that I also asked Prefontaine earlier. Considering your history from the beginning to when you went into retirement for politics of war, was there anything that you wish that you could change or done differently at all? Or was there something that you missed that you wish that you could go back and do again?
The only regret I ever have every time I go into retirement is that I need to teach better FA people. In terms of like mentorship and like, creating that next level of leadership that can like do better, be better than what our generation of FA people were. Because like the biggest problem that I see is people repeating the mistakes of the past, in which like we had certain FA people that went for overkill and then certain FA people that were too passive. There needs to be a balance of the two where, you get to enjoy the game, but you get to win the game too.
Okay.
Change that whole thing you had happen at the end of your time in Guardian?
No, I think I would probably end up doing that again if someone would put me in that position. Which was the key thing. I think I thought you would be happy with that, Free, because then you got to make tests after all.
I didn't get to make tests. I had to come clean up that mess.
Hi, Jack.
Back together.
Well, you cleaned up the mess and you made Guardian into a dictatorship. If I didn't do that, you wouldn't be. You know how stupid drama Guardian used to have back in the day? Like when we were like trying to be democratic but not democratic? Like and then there was a triumvirate and then there was all the other crap. So it's good. You got a dictatorship out of it.
All it took was you cheating and imploding the alliance for me to get a dictatorship. Good job, Abbas.
It took me to do that, and you basically ended a 7-year drama.
Abbas, you cheat.
It's all Caden's fault at the core.
Sides of things.
All right, so for the listeners out there who do not know who Abbas is, he's a longtime player, just like Prefontaine, that has also been very influential across the many different alliances, but he's been mostly centered around Rose. So he has a lot of behind the scenes knowledge of the politics and stuff like that went on in the game for many years. So with that said, Abbas, is there anything that you could reveal that's like big and like that no one really knows that you contributed to, like some like big top secret thing that you managed to pull off?
I mean, this is like prehistory, but I mean, I'm sure most people suspected me of already doing that, but I can admit it now because we're allied to TS, I guess, right now. But all those ARG raids and the ghosting raids and all the other things, that all the raids back in EMC days, they were funded by me.
I kind of figured that was you. I figured it was you. You little jackass. Considering, I still can't get over like the amount that you paid me and Sketchy to join in that war that you had with MPO and Black Knights. Remember that?
Yeah, but like I had to pay you because there was no one else I could get on board. Even TTR was like one step in, one step out. So I had to pay you at that point and get the war started.
Yeah, I was in there like.
It was a very if that war did not happen, we would have not ended over literally 9 months of peace.
And the whole time, by the way, if you weren't aware of this, so we had just created the Golden Horde, and you knew that we had nothing. We had no way to carry out a war or anything like that. But when you were trying so hard to persuade us to join, Sketchy and I wanted to join. Sketchy was like, yeah, we don't have the economy for that. However, when you dropped that payment onto us, I looked at Sketchy. I said, to hell with this. We're joining this war now because, my God, this is so much.
But to be fair, though, I didn't pay you that much. And most of it was not even my money. It was money from,
wait. How much do you think you paid us?
I thought I paid you 1.5 bill or 5 bill between the two.
Okay, all right. I was about to say, and that was a drop in the bucket?
Well, you do know that war did over 90 bill of damage, and Rose's, I think, war chest going into that war was 80 bill. So, yeah, I mean, Sketchy knew all that detail. Like
Oh
he
my
just
gosh.
couldn't stop here. But like I mean, Rose was still like the third richest alliance in the game at the time. NPO had a bigger war chest, and so did TS. But like I mean, for established alliances to start a war, I just don't understand why people don't pay people more often to start wars, because it's so easy to do that. But because the people that are getting paid think they're, oh wow, there's like a $100 bill, but for the other person it's like 10 cents.
I think people don't do it because of potential leaks of their information and stuff like that. Like Prefontaine Prefontaine actually had the statement earlier about how, like, back in the day, when people didn't just publicly leak things, they sent it off privately to be used in a declaration of war for a proper CB and stuff like that. So like I think with the current times changing to, like, people just posting shit up publicly for likes on the forum and stuff like that, that it really changed the cautious moves by certain leaders and stuff like that.
I think it goes into a certain sense of, you're right to a certain extent. You're right that it may make people more like shut up. But I think the people that know how to pay still pay and get what they want. And in terms of like fighting wars, I'm not talking about like leaks, and paying for leaks is super cheap, but I'm talking about like getting payments for committing to, like, for example, with Nightfall, right? Partisan paid, I don't know if this is public yet, but Partisan paid off some NPO allies and also the nuke block to join in Nightfall. So this was a deal that both Partisan and me signed up for, and Rose and TS both paid for it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean that's.
Hey, there you go, Adrian. There you go. Syndicate and Rose paid for TKO to get rolled.
He didn't pay off NPO. NPO is free. Nuke block, no.
No, NPO was not paid off. I'm saying some NPO allies were paid off. And NPO also gave in in that same conversation, Quentin asked for 500 mil to pay someone, and then he touched up 500. I think it was Loron or someone like that. Or it could be someone entirely different. But I remember Quentin also paying like 500 mil for something. But my point is that those people that know how to pay end up paying. Yeah, that's the point.
I mean, that's a pretty slick move. I appreciate that kind of move. Like, I mean, just paying someone else to do dirty work. There you go.
I mean, no one is expecting whoever you pay to, like, do a good job at whatever they're doing. It's just a distraction, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, it also means, like, like, if you're on the different sides of the political spectrum and stuff like that in the game, I mean, like, weakening your opponent, whether it's economically, paying someone to hit you, whatever, it makes sense.
Psychological than anything economical, like just putting that perspective in someone's head that you can just get other people on board with a crazy idea. I think that is what the real benefit of paying people off is. Like, no one knows you're paying someone off, but they just think you somehow manipulated them into doing something.
So I do have a question for both of y'all. What brought it into y'all's radio show back in the day?
I think it was the community, right? Like, they were good people. You respected them and you enjoyed listening to them and what they had to say, even if they were opponents, right? Like, you just had to see what kind of bullshit they spew up that Thursday. And that's really what attracted me to radio shows.
So, Abbas, are you going to message Partisan and be like, hey, I'm back in the game?
I don't know. I'm still not feeling the game right now.
Would you have ever imagined Rose being allied up with Syndicate?
Isn't this the second time this happened? Actually, third time.
No.
Third time. Yeah. It's the third time this has happened. The first time was TS was a protector.
Syndicate was in Paragon. Paragon was against Cindy Sphere. Yeah, I don't. Oh, that's right. VE. Yeah. That's right. VE. Yeah.
Yeah.
With
So
Sweet Ronnie D and
actually,
Imperial.
yeah. So that was first instance. Second instance was right before Nightfall.
Was it?
Yeah, Rose and TS were allies before Nightfall. I was active during Nightfall, but I was in COS at the time. Yeah, they were allies.
I don't remember y'all being allies.
I just found a really old screenshot of Rose forums.
Dude, I was like looking through some old screenshots, and I remembered someone gave me the information to their account to get into MPO's top secret stuff, and I was sitting there leaking that to some people like Partisan and everybody. Oh god, that was great. No, Syndicate never joined Paragon.
What are you talking about? Syndicate founded Paragon.
No, they did not.
Yeah, it did. Syndicate.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did. Partisan literally told Rose, if you don't sign VE, we're gonna roll you. And we signed VE with Syndicate and Paragon. And the next thing you know, he dumps us for Guardian and Mensa after the issue with Imperial. Dude, I have IRC logs of Partisan threatening me to join Paragon.
Oh, that'd be cool to see. I seriously don't remember that shit.
This is on the wiki page. Go to the wiki page, see the Paragon, and it's gonna be there.
I remember Impero pissing off Roy Mustang and Partisan, which
yeah, that was because he wanted Partisan to resign because Partisan had a big leak about trying to row UPN or other some shit, and he wanted to scapegoat Partisan. And then we were mediating, but at the same time, Partisan said, and TS in general said, "Fuck no, let's get the fuck out and let's go make our own sphere." And then he made with Mensa, Guardian, and SK and all those other people.
So you guys are so you're telling me that Rose got bullied into joining Paragon?
Yeah, 100%. That is a fact that even everyone in Rose knows about from the OG era. Because we were all there. If you ask Kigos was there as I don't remember what his position might be at the time, but he was there when Partisan was like telling us, you either join us or you get rolled. Because the thing was, we had this big leak about trying to roll VE.
So why do you guys in Rose not hate Partisan more? Because like that was years of y'all getting y'all's asses kicked because of Partisan.
We do hate Partisan more. What are you talking about? Most of the alliance internally, if you go talk to Callisto has been with Rose since EOS caved into Rose back in the Marionette War. And she has been the biggest Partisan hate owner in Rose since that time. Like, she even calls me out when I have sympathy for the guy when he's getting rolled.
So, Abbas, real talk. Are you thinking about coming back to the game, or are you still enjoying retirement?
I am kind of enjoying retirement in the sense that I've been very busy with life, and the game is just, it requires me to be a bit better than, what my alliance deserves, and I don't want to, take up space and not do shit.
Hey, speaking of your real life, have you finally found a girl yet?
Preferably
I have a girl.
With your name written across.
Nuke Abbas 2015.
I haven't done that far yet, but yeah, I do have a girl. Like, I've always had a girl.
Oh shit! All right, Abbas, the fucking smooth talker over here. You still live up in Canada, don't you? Or
Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time All right, if I recall correctly, you're from India, right?
No.
Suck my dick, bro. Suck my dick.
Oh man, I miss you, Abbas. I miss you a lot, man.
I miss you too. You know who I miss the most, though, bro? It's not you.
Yo, fuck yourself.
But can you guess?
How could you not miss me?
No, I do miss you, but who do I miss the most?
You're gonna say Sketchy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, see, I know you very well. No, I knew you were gonna say Sketchy. I'm also trying
That
to
is one guy. That is one guy that I can respect in this game. Anyone else is not respectful to me. You're not deserving of respect to me.
Excuse me?
No, I mean, you've done a lot of shit, like in your good days and your bad days. But Sketchy, I've never seen a low point in this guy's life. Like he plateaued essentially, but he never dipped.
I've been talking to him off and on, trying to see if I could get him back in the game so that we could do some stuff together. So we'll see how that goes.
So wait, are you actively playing, bro?
Yeah, I am. I came back in June, I think it was. I think that's when I actually fully came back. I was like off and on here and there, just kind of like tinkering around, whatever. And then just trolling Syndicate here and there. And then went back into retirement. And when I had time off from my baby being born, then that's when I fully got back into the game.
Congratulations on your baby. And that is very off timing. You got paternity leave and you took it on PW?
I did a lot of stuff with that time off. It was actually pretty nice. I just went back to work last week and got a lot of stuff done around the house. Like people don't realize that the leave that you get from work and stuff like that really helps out on with a new family. So like I had like 6 weeks off, but I took an extra week after that off as well because I had a lot of time saved up from work, and that allowed me to fix up a lot of projects around the house and stuff like that. Stuff that my wife.
Yo, why are people saying Sketchy is banned?
I don't. Sketchy's not banned.
Let me go fix that.
leave a note on there, Pre, and say from with love from Pre.
Yeah, he was never a big fan of mine, if I remember correctly.
No. He hated Pre, but the guy was chill though.
He didn't like Pre, and he definitely does not like Partisan. Definitely.
Fun thing is, I never really thought about him.
I don't think I don't think that he was like really thinking about you, but it was more like, oh, Prefontaine, yeah, I don't trust him, kind of thing.
Oh, you can trust me. I'm very trustworthy. I do what I say, and I say what I mean. But if you just don't like that, I get it.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. So when do you think Syndicate started being a shit alliance?
Oh, shoot. Man, this goes far back, dude. This goes...
Do you think Nightfall or NPO last time or earlier?
Earlier than that. Earlier
than that. This goes to Trail of Tears.
Nah. Well, was it after Trail of Tears when they went paperless?
Disbanded? Yeah, that was after Trail of Tears.
That's when they started sucking. That's when Zed took over the alliance. And
Zed was the leader in Trail of Tears, and that is when I thought Syndicate sucked. They also were making some very pussy moves back in the day.
That was when Roy Mustang and Jessica Rabbit left the game as well. Like once those two left, like no one could fill their shoes.
I don't think that's fair though, Blue, because like there have been good econ and milcom leaders of TS. I just think like TS as a whole unit, that is what the decline started. But as far as like Roy Mustang's replacement, I think TS had better Roy Mustangs.
Well,
I don't think they had better Jessicas,
Roy
but they
didn't do a
definitely had
lot.
better Roy Mustangs.
I
Roy
just
was
find
not
it.
that good.
What was that?
Roy was not that good. He benefited from being around better people.
He was really good in with internals. Like he was really good at keeping the peace inside Syndicate. Like outside of Syndicate, he really, I don't think he really did much, but like with the internal affairs with the Alliance, he did a really good job.
Right, so Syndicate sucked after Trail of Tears. Let's go through some of these lines here. When rather than saying when did Rose start sucking, when was Rose good?
When their first good moment was when they allied up with Mensa, because then like we could help them out. We helped them out with their Milcom and shit. Yeah,
You're not.
I'm fucking dead serious about that.
Your time. This predates your time. I think the best moment of Rose was, well, I mean, I'm being biased here. Islamic Crusade was actually pretty significant, but I think Marionette War was also pretty cool.
No. Because after that, you guys went so far fucking down the hole. Like y'all sucked in every military thing, and like I remember having this conversation with you, sitting there saying like, "Hey, why don't Rose ally up with Mensa, and we help you out with your Milcom?" And we did, and then you guys like fucking like put up some hard fucking numbers, and it was kind of like.
Yeah, but
because we saw your
Rose,
nations and stuff like that, and we were like, why are you guys not playing up to y'all's potential? And then like when we became allies, you guys did.
You're making correlations as causations. The time period where Mensa and Rose were allies, Rose was still not that great. It happened.
No, because ever since then, Rose was competent.
And no, they had a Milcom head that was actually a grinder for the first time since Adama, who was someone that you do not know, but Pre does. And that is DTC Justice, who was the deputy Milcom of Rose.
Wait, hold on, wait, did you just sit there and tell me that I don't know DTC?
No, he said you don't know Adama.
Oh,
yeah, you don't know Adama.
I remember
How do you know
Adama. Because he played back when I first started. I remember talking to Adama.
Okay. So yeah, Adama was the previous Milcom, the competent Milcom before DTC, and that time period is over 2 years of a difference. So that's when Rose slumped, because we never had a good Milcom in between. Because even during Trail of Tears, there was a head of Milcom. It was Roz, who joined you in TGH, but he sucked at that job. DTC was the one carrying him Trail of Tears.
Okay. So moving on from Rose. Enough about Rose. All right. Better TKR period. Adrian's period or Lordship's period?
Ooh.
Adrian's period.
Oh, wait. All right, wait.
Adrian.
Between Lordship and Adrian. But if you're going to put Dalinar in that conversation, Dalinar, hands down.
No, I would have said Dalinar if I was including him.
All right. I'm just sitting there saying.
Immortals, are they any good? ?
We have yet to see.
All right, what's next on the list here? I accidentally moved it.
I like how Pre's doing this, like his old Alliance, top 10 Alliance moment right here. I like this part.
Cataclysm. What's been Cataclysm's best moment?
Ooh.
I don't think that Alliance has ever seen a best moment. Come on.
If I remember, Cataclysm was that was a combination of alliances that merged together. If I remember, Sketchy originally helped create that. If I remember correctly, if you're still here,
it was post Sketchy. It was COTL and Error 404 merger, but it happened due to the lack of someone like Sketchy.
But yeah, Cataclysm is known to be pretty good, but I don't think they've had any really hard tests, if I remember correctly.
Is Kevin in charge of Eclipse? Is he one of the leaders? I see someone with the name Kevin in their leadership.
No, Kevin this Kevin, the one that you talked to, he's leading Paradise. Hodor's in that alliance. It's just a small alliance.
And clearly, they've got the better Kevin. So Cataclysm must be a decent alliance then.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eclipse. I misspoke.
I don't know. I would like to fight them personally.
The Fighting Pacifists. How the fuck is the Fighting Pacifists still an alliance? How
Dude,
are these guys still fucking around?
Wait. Hold up, Pre. How long did Cornerstone last in a game? You remember them?
Yeah, but like they at least had a few people that knew what the forums were and how to get there. I feel like the Fighting Pacifists were. What was that drink? The abortion or the failed abortion? I feel like they are the fucking abortion that somehow made it through and are just the fucking cockroach of the top 10. How are they even in the they were the biggest joke of an alliance when I decided, okay, let's punch them for a round with test, and they're like, no, we're gonna keep bashing our face into your fist.
Oh, dude, I remember.
We're not gonna take your surrender terms, even though it's basically white peace. Like they were the biggest joke of the game for me.
I remember that. I remember that. They've gotten a lot better since then, but I remember that moment because it was kind of like, when is this going to end? It's a joke of a fucking war.
I think this is the biggest, black mark on Pre's legacy is the existence of TFP, because he has attempted for a very long time, the only person to have attempted for a very long time to end TFP.
I didn't want to end him. I wanted to fight him for a round.
And then they got stubborn about it, and then they just didn't accept the terms. They just kept getting punched.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. All right, moving on. Grumpy, or as I like to call them, Gob.
I think Hi Dude had a really good comment that they're overrated. Like people put too much emphasis on Grumpy.
So working with Guardian and getting to fight alongside that steaming pile of pixels, they are only good when they have the high end advantage in spades. Like if they were in a knockdown struggle, they would collapse. The only thing that makes them good is their size. They're all people that may have been good back in the day, but are past their prime on caring about the game, which I completely understand. But they don't have the gumption in them for a proper fight. So if they weren't as whaley as they were, they would be that fucking deadweight ally that you're like, oh, should we get rid of them? I guess they're useful enough in a fight because there's some pixels to burn. But yeah, they're sloppy fighters without the stomach for a tough fight from everything I saw. I could be wrong. I don't like SRD that much as a player, but I've gotten over that since I'm not a player anymore. I really don't care about him in that sort of way. When I was in politics, I hated him in politics. I thought he was a shit leader and a bad military leader. No mince words about that. But as a person, I really don't care about him in that way. Like neutral ground there.
When I worked with them in Ketog, they were actually really, really, really good allies. Like I really enjoyed working with Sweet Ronnie D and stuff like that. Like Sketchy and shoot, I'm having a brain fart. Not Kigaz, but not Horsecock, but the other guy that went to Syndicate. I'm having a really bad time remembering his name. Anyways, who?
Chiho.
Speak clearly.
I said Shiho, bro.
No, not Chiho. No. I mean, he was in KT and then went to Syndicate. Or he went to ES, I think. Anyways, like when we worked with them, like arranging like targets and stuff like that, they were really good about it. And then
that was what 5-6 years ago.
About 3, I think.
Yeah. Well, they're from what I've seen well past their prime then.
But But one of the difficult things working with Grumpy is their size. Like once they knock out all the targets out of their range, it was kind of like, okay, they can't really do much else after that.
Yeah, they're not going to be if they get beaten, they're not going to be the ones to dig in and do the guerrilla warfare. They're just going to sit and take it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that yet, so I don't know. Maybe they probably wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of people give up after they get old.
We saw that in Nightfall, and we saw that in the recent war. What's the recent war that Grumpy fought in that lost?
But I will say this though, Sweet Ryan D as a player though,
Hollywood.
he would actually sell his projects or sell things to actually hit lower. Like he would continue fighting.
Yeah, no, I have respect for that, but I'm talking about the Alliance as a whole.
Oh yeah.
He's talking about the cohesiveness of the Alliance, because it's not really a cohesive community. It's more like all these people that are coming together from one goal in mind, which is that they're upper tiers and they're tax free.
All right.
That's literally.
All right, next Alliance.
Guardian. Outside of Shellhound, have they ever been bad?
Ooh, I can't recall ever doing bad.
So I would say Guardian's probably the best alliance of the history of politics and war. Then they've survived multiple iterations, multiple spheres. They're always performing well and always a reliable ally. They are the GOAT for alliances, I would say.
I would say, I would agree with that, but I would also add TKR up there as well.
No.
Given the history of the game,
Guardian,
I would put TKR.
Guardian and TKR is not the same level, bro. Come on.
There's definitely an argument there, man.
No. I'm vehemently against that one.
Abbas, hold on. I fought against TKR and allied up with TKR many times. So I would definitely put them up there. I would TKR is the most boring alliance for me because of just how effective they are. It's not interesting. They're boring to me.
Well,
I would definitely
put 5 minutes. But
when it comes to which alliances, if you were to have a Mount Rushmore of alliances on how effective they've been, how stubborn they've been, their longevity and stuff like that, I would definitely put TKR and Guardian up on that. I would. Now the other spots, I don't know just yet. Maybe Rose. I don't know.
Would you put Rose over Syndicate?
Ooh.
For me, I think I've liked what Rose has done over a longer period of time. I feel like Rose has constantly had upward momentum. They started real shit and have steadily moved in the right direction. They kind of dipped once or twice, but they still have moved in the right direction over time. Syndicate's been up and down. So I would put Rose over Syndicate just because of that. And Syndicate also has not fared well with losing crucial figures, where Rose has.
It's really, man.
And I'm a partisan fan. Like him and I go way back. So I don't say that lightly. That I think, but if I'm saying they're number 3, Syndicate's behind them by a fraction of a point.
I mean, they're pretty close. They're pretty close to each other. But that's not saying anything good because they're both shit right now.
Well, here's the thing. So Syndicate has definitely been way more involved in way more influential moments of the game. But I feel Rose has just, like I said, steadily been moving in the right direction. And the Syndicate's best days are well behind of that. And they never really started improving when they didn't rise to the challenge of losing leadership and trying to recreate themselves. They sort of floundered and rested on hey, remember how great we used to be, guys? That seems to be Syndicate's message. We used to be fucking awesome. Look at us.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to adapt, they just rest on their laurels, and that's where I take a lot of points off of that.
And I agree with that. I do agree with that assessment because it seems like anytime they start to dip down or whatever, Parson has to step in and make them relevant again. Because if you remember when they were paperless, no one gave a damn about them. at all. No one rolled them. No one paid attention to them. No one did anything. They were like more irrelevant in the grand scheme of things for the game than the Light Federation, and that's saying something. If any of you old timers remember that shit. So, but now they are starting to make moves. They're making moves along with Rose though, so it's really hard to. I don't know. Like I really, really don't know. Like I kind of want to put Rose above Syndicate because like Rose has been around longer, and I mean like with Abbas was very influential when he was shadow governing Rose. So it's really hard to say. That's a really good conversation to have. Holy shit!
This is why I like going through the top 10 and look at it in different ways.
Oh my gosh! You're gonna make me think on this for a long time now.
So looking at, I don't want to really talk about too many alliances that are in the from 10 to 20, but the Commonwealth, they're still alive and they're at 13. I find that surprising. I'm genuinely shocked the Commonwealth's still kicking.
I was too. When I came back and I saw that name still exist, I was kind of like, why haven't they merged into another alliance? It's not like they're doing anything.
It's good to see Legion and somewhere in that middle round. I liked, even though they were like the enemy of everyone in Lunar Wars that was trying to not be part of the hegemony, I always looked at them as a good alliance to strive to be like way back in the day. Like I'm talking 12 freaking years ago at this point. But it's good to see that old name around again.
The two that surprised me when I came back was Camelot and Carthago. Like I was surprised that Camelot grew, and I mean I'm still thinking that they may still be jokes. I don't know, but I've heard some good things about Carthago, so I was actually very surprised that they cracked the top 15.
Outside of the alliance you're currently in, who's your favorite current alliance to see politically right now?
Ooh.
It's an easy answer for me because admin alliance is good. I like Washington State.
Okay, so all right, so the one alliance that I am excited to see for once, after fucking years of trashing them, the Black Knights, and I'm actually really, 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 really excited to see what could possibly happen with the Black Knights and the Knights Radiant being allied once more, like the whole Obsidian Order nostalgia. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that works out. I hope that they don't get tied to Syndicate again. Adrian, cough, cough. Don't do it, please. Thank you. But yeah, the Black Knights. I've always been a fan of Black Knights back when Lord Strum and Yostodog led them. And then like when Leo took over and that jackass group, they just lost their fun. So with Lord Strum and Yoso being kind of back, I guess they haven't really posted much on the forums. I'm hoping that they bring back the fun of the game that they did.
All their old ads, those are great.
Oh yeah.
All right, yeah, that's the top 10. There we go.
But let's see here. Didn't Seven Kingdoms, they renamed themselves Name Withheld? Is that who that is?
I don't know. I'm honestly surprised SK survived the loss of their influential three members. Same with like I feel like they're very similar to House Stark. They're around, but they're not.
Yeah, you never understood the Kurohei until you talked to him in back doors. Oh god, that dude did not like him. Who would you say like? All right, name 5 players that you've enjoyed playing with. Pre.
Partisan for the first half. Anything after Nightfall, I feel like Partisan's kind of just playing a joke of himself or trying to be the old him without any of the effort or influence or gravitas. So I've disliked seeing him come back. I think I liked him better in the old days. Memph is arguably one of the most solid people that I've met in these games.
I agree.
Him and I have a very long history. We kind of left Guardian in round 1 of Lunar Wars to create like this 3 or 4 man raiding crew that went on a fucking epic tear of the game. He was my number 2 for a long time while I was in charge. He's arguably the most reliable person, I think, in that group and in the game. Malone, I liked working with Malone a lot. He never took the game seriously, but he put on a serious face. He knew how to, play the role. He knew how to dive into a character, but also not take it fucking seriously and not get caught up in the drama and understand this ultimately is just the game.
Mm-hmm.
2 more. There's a lot of names to have to go through, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. Working with El Pinchazo and Finey, I'm going to put them in the same spot because I didn't really work with them at the same time. We're 2 meaningful people in the game and kind of helped shape who I wanted to act like. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that I want to specifically, because I mean there's plenty of people that I've interacted with in long and meaningful ways. And
that's why I limited it to 5 because you could talk about a lot.
Yeah. And I'm trying not to just name Guardian people or just test people. I'm trying to bounce it around to other people that I've interacted in other ways.
E3.
Honestly, we never really interacted that much in this game, my man. We talked.
Whenever you were active, I was inactive. Whenever you were inactive, I was active. So yeah, I think the only time I've actually talked with you during a war, outside in PW was during the Nightfall War, where you were test leader and I was in COS. So we had that coordination channel.
All right, Abbas. While Priest's thinking about his 5th, what about your top 5? Top 5 players that you enjoyed working with.
I think number 1 would definitely be Sketchy because I really enjoyed my time. The guy really challenged me, and I enjoyed working with him. Number 2 would be number 2 is hard after Sketchy. It's such a high. I think I can put Patterson as number 2. I enjoyed working with him, even though the guy has creamed my ass for a very long time. When he was with me, I really enjoyed that time. Sorry?
What?
Phrasing.
Oh. Creamed your ass.
Is this also when you were 13?
No, more like I think.
Were you cheating on Prefontaine? Were you cheating on him?
Number 3 would be. Number 3 is hard. I think Valk can get number 3, but he's part of Rose. But as far as within Rose, Valk does.
I'm just asking about players in general. It could be anybody.
Then, yeah.
You can name 5 people from Rose. I don't care. Your top 5.
I was just trying to bounce around, dude. You don't have to follow mine.
Yeah. Then in that case, Valk is definitely number 3. Number 4 would be Kigos, back when he was a good dog. Not anymore.
Wow. I hope he's still listening.
Is he on right now? He
was a moment ago.
Okay. Yeah. So, and number 5. Number 5 is going to be a tough one because
I've got mine. If you want to take a moment.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
I'm going to give my last one to Thalmor. So Thalmor came into Terminus Est very early into his gameplay career. And he got to kind of have the freedom that it was under Test With Me of just being this little murder bot. And there was a lot of... He became really active, and then he splintered off into creating his little Crusade Alliance there. KT.
Knights Templar, yeah.
And then he also developed a radio show that I helped him with by being on from time to time, and that really helped take off both his popularity and he's someone I like to talk to with a lot, and I come on his show fairly frequently when he wants me to. So I'll give it to Thalmor as my number 5.
There you go, Thalmor. You got some recognition, buddy. You got your 5 yet, Abbas?
Yeah, I do, but it's a controversial one. This is not someone that a lot of players would respect, but it's someone that has worked well with me in particular, and he has been my sugar daddy for a very long time as well, for all the crap that I did. That would be Seb.
Who?
Seb.
Seb? Really? From Syndicate?
Yeah. Well, no, Seb is in Yar right now.
No, he left Yar. He's in a different group now.
Oh, where is he now? I have no idea where he is now.
Wow, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, the only reason I don't think is a good I think I'm the only person that is in the position to say this because I've benefited from him quite a bit, but he's also, of course, benefited from my relationship. But like the thing is that like it has been very easy to work with him for me. I can tell you, he's the hardest person to work with for anyone else. But with me, he has been a tremendous resource, a way to stay connected to the the upper tier back channels, the raiding crews, the all the shady underground stuff and all that kind of shit. So he's someone that has always had my back in terms of like even me not asking for it. Like he has had my back. So he's one that I respect a lot, and I enjoy working with him when I'm active. But yeah,
I like Seb too. I got to know him pretty well in Yar. We especially had fun over the whole Buck incident. So yeah. I got your back with Seb. I appreciate him too.
Oh yeah, I remember that Buck incident. Shit. He's not like I've only had one, maybe 2 interactions with Seb because
I can tell you that. Yeah, no.
Those were the 2. Like there was the 2 times that you asked me to talk to Seb to give him like some FA advice at one point and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. And he seemed like a decent guy, at least to me.
Yeah, it was right before Islamic Crusade because it was him making an alliance. And he couldn't control his crew to do war and shit. And then I asked you to give him advice on that front. Because I had no idea about how to convince people to go to war. Like, I've never had to convince people to go to war.
Hey, Abbas, I got a question for you. Do you remember in Alpha, not the Alliance, the version of the game before Speedround, there was this super active, high-level person that fucking hated me. I don't remember their name. They were like one of the biggest nations in the game. They were really active on the forums, and then they just fucking vanished because the game hated them too.
Oh, were they in GPA at some point as well? Like,
I think so. I can't remember the name for the life of me. They used to post on the forums all the time.
Yeah, I remember. Like, they were also a wiki mod, and they were in GPA for a brief period before they left the game. And I think...
I bet you Kurdanak would remember. Fuck.
Yeah, Kurdanak would remember. But I have the mentor, like, I have their avatar in my mind. I just can't remember the name. Oh, fuck. It'll come to me, Pri. Eventually, in this week, it'll come to me.
He's gonna like message you out of the blue, Pri. Who's this guy?
I miss Atzuya. I don't know how many people remember that name. Why
does that sound familiar to me?
Guardian.
Atzuya was the...
Yeah, they were in UPN originally. Then they joined Guardian.
Your Judge. Yeah. Well, they joined Guardian after the Judge thing. Like you did the Judge Dredd whole thing, and they were with you at that time. They left UPN for that.
Yeah, I miss that too. They joined Tech for a while.
Oh, that was the person that was asking me what would happen if they left UPN, and I was like, nothing. I mean, because he got tired of getting rolled in UPN.
No. It wasn't that situation.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
No. There was a reason why. It was to do with Underlord and how he was running his mouth, and they were complaining about the fact that Underlord is back. He's been given second in command. Their leader is inactive, and that was the complaint. It wasn't because they were pussyfooting. It was because Underlord was second in command.
Because
How dare
at
you?
at the same time, there was a lot of drama with Underlord and Syndicate.
How
And
dare you? Underlord is an angel. He doesn't run his mouth. He is a phenomenal leader, player, and very fair moderator. How dare you?
I'm sorry.
But I just wanted to set the record straight here, Boo, because I know that you think a lot of people jump ship because they don't want to get rolled. But this is one particular character that did not run away from a fight. They just wanted to run away from Underlord.
I just remember. Oh yeah, and Neil, yeah, I remember that name. Wow. Okay. Like let's see here. I was sitting there thinking about like my top 5. Number 1 would easily be Sketchy because like when I had a plan, he would always make sure that we had the economy side to back it up, and he also helped me a lot with like talking to certain people. Because there's like certain people that I just really just could not talk to. Like I would just cuss them out. My number 2 would be Partisan because he taught me a lot about the foreign affairs and how to approach people back when I first started. He was really good back then. Like I like Pre. I miss the old Partisan. Number 3, Kegos. Kegos was really fun to work alongside with. When we did Key Talk, like it was me, Sketchy, and Kegos together was just like fucking. It was just fucking awesome. Like we made so many plans. We laughed about things. We trolled people together. It was really good fun. And I felt bad because like back in the day when Mensa was rolling Rose, when Kegos was leading Rose, like I always made fun of him. But then like actually getting to know the guy and working with him, I was kind of like, what the fuck? Why could this not happen earlier? Number 4, Myth. Like I have to back Prefontaine on that. Myth is probably the most stable player in the game. Like you cannot find a better individual to like not judge you, I guess, than Myth. Like he's just like he listens to anyone, he talks, he shares his opinion.
He's also Canadian, I think, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, and he's always been very chill. Like even when we're like getting trashed and everything, he's like, "Hey guys, I'm just gonna go out and missile people." Like there's no drama from this guy at all. One of the better players in the game. My 5th one probably Hodor. It was tough. Like I had to really think about Hodor or Dalinar, one of those two. But I'm gonna give the edge to Hodor because like I actually talked to him on the
fuck. What was I doing?
Oh, dude, man, you being fucking pussyfooting around and shit like that. Like
Okay.
I try to make some moves on you, and you're like, no, it's okay.
Yeah, because you try to take advantage of me, but I gave you opportunities. Bro,
Look, man, when you're sitting there talking about like people creaming your ass and being your sugar daddy, I mean, what's up?
Hey, Abbas, when you were pulling back channel strings, why did you never try to work with me? I'm honestly curious.
No, I told you, like when you were active, I was not that active, and when you were inactive, I was very active. Like we never overlapped together our time.
Okay, just checking.
I was actually kind of curious about that too, because like you two had that radio show together, and I kind of assumed that you two often worked alongside with each other often. But coming to find out that you guys didn't work along with each other, it's like, what the hell?
No, I mean, I think like when the radio show was a thing, Pre was not like an active leader at the time. And then also like most of his time when I was active was in a paperless alliance, which was, not really involved with the whole Paragon drama. And also after the fact, like when I was active again and doing Islamic Crusade and all that time shit, Pre was not involved with the game at the time.
And now he's retired too, so like it's not like it's just we've never had an opportunity to do something together. When he was involved with Nightfall, I was not available at the time. I came in like after Nightfall started, or the planning of Nightfall started.
Abbas
Okay.
and Prefontaine, the same person? Question mark.
Because, well, I mean, like, you know, you never see both of y'all in the same room together, I guess. Got to be Batman or some shit, whatever that saying is.
We are all Shellhound.
I do, like, I thought about that too, because I don't think you and I ever really worked together either, Pre.
No, like I said, I made it a point to not try to work with people I got along with necessarily. I found it more interesting. Like, I got along with the Pirates once I worked with them. I got along with, I would have never worked with someone like Rosella for Rosway, but I liked trying to find people that were interesting to work with at the time, rather than just going, okay, I'm going to ally my friends and stay allied with my friends. I wanted to go out and interact with new people and create interesting politics, rather than going, shit, these people are fighting my friends, I got to get their back. Rather than, you know, if I come and fight my friends, we're going to have a good laugh about it down the road, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised, because, like, if things were different, I definitely would have been in Test when you led it, because of the way how you played Test.
I'm surprised P-Fluff wasn't on your list of names.
Fuck that guy.
No one in Mensa really liked him, did they?
No, hell no.
How was he in charge? Why was he in charge?
Okay, so he got in charge because he was the one that was like organizing it all, basically. And then everybody was just kind of like, oh yeah, we'll be in politics and war for about maybe a couple months, and then we'll like ditch out and go back to E-Republic or some shit like that. And then lo and behold, we started enjoying the game because
Of Alex's quality content.
we were trolling the game and doing well, and we were getting a lot of recognition. A lot of the Mensa players just really like to be jerks, and all the attention was just getting to their heads. But yeah, like Pfeiffer, like when Pfeiffer organized it, we made a charter, and in this charter you would have the Grand Chancellor, I think the Emperor Palpatine, whatever, Star Wars. You would have the Grand Chancellor, and then you would have I think it was like 4 or 5 leaders underneath that. You know, the foreign affairs, internal affairs, military, stuff like that. But the Grand Chancellor could never be removed. Like, once selected, he's the permanent dictator, period. But all the 5 leaders could be changed depending on the votes and Mensa and stuff like that. So we went along with that. We were thinking, no big deal and stuff like that. And then after, I think, our war with that communist alliance, I can't remember the name of it because they disbanded shortly after we kicked.
Herano one. Yeah. A Socialist International, something like that.
SI, yeah.
Anyways, after that war, like, Pfeiffer started to become like a big asshole in our community. Like, not only just in politics and war, but also in E-Republic as well. So like he was just like going power hungry, so to speak. And so we just really over time just got to hate the guy. And then it got even worse when he was trash talking Syndicate and Guardian at the same time. Our like, because at the time it was Mensa, Syndicate, and Guardian, and then later on 7 Kingdoms, if I remember correctly. And like Tenacious wouldn't put up with Pfeiffer at all. Like he would not deal with his attitude. But you got Pfeiffer sitting there trash talking Myth and Partisan and Roy Mustang, and then like all of that got back to the community in Mensa, and we just fucking hated the way how Pfeiffer was talking to him. Because like these guys were like our strongest allies, and it's kind of like, dude, you're just sabotaging our little corner of the alliance web. And so eventually he got to the point to where no one was listening to him, and he just disappeared on his own. And then we put in Averick and Vanek to lead Mensa, and things got better, way better, in my opinion. So yeah, no, fuck Pfeiffer. He tried to a couple of times, because like he only lived like about like 30 minutes away from me at the time. He lived in New Orleans, and I lived in Long Beach, Mississippi at the time. And there was one time when I was like honestly like interested in meeting him, and I drove out to New Orleans to go meet him and stuff like that. And he at the last minute he ditched the meeting. I don't know why. It probably could have been due to the fact that I told someone in the Mensa community that like if Pfeiffer starts acting like an asshole to me in person, I was gonna deck him in the face, because I was like, I'm not gonna put up with this bullshit. But I was like, honestly intrigued about seeing if he was the same person online as he was in person. But that never happened. And then he tried to contact me. I think
He was a cop, right?
I don't know if he finished the academy for that. He did try to join the police force though. And he tried to contact me. I think it was about like 2 or 3 years ago, and I completely blew him off because I was kind of like whatever. He did get caught in some drama. Like he caused a lot of drama in some people's relationships. That was part of the Mensa community. Like he got jealous because there was like one girl in the community that he really, really, really had the hots for, but this girl just did not care for him, and she went and dated another person that was in the community. And when he found out, like he was sitting there like slandering the guy, sitting there saying like, "Oh, this dude's cheating on you" and all this stuff. And then at that point, the whole community just basically ran him off. Like he no longer shows his face anymore. I don't think he stays in touch with anybody else either. He tried to get the owner of the forums for the Mensa community. He tried to get the police involved to go arrest that guy just because he got his mod powers removed. Like it was bad. It was real bad. But yeah, fuck that guy. Ugh. Oh, dude, man, I remember your old PNW videos. Those were so good. And I fucking miss Pigeon Head. Pigeon with
the NG was just cursed with shit allies for his entire career.
I tried so fucking hard to pull him out to join Ketog. I really, really wanted Acadia to join Ketog because I really wanted to work alongside with the NG, but he would not leave UPN at all. He would not. And
it was a respectable relationship with UPN. I just didn't like the fact that he was so stuck up with BK and NPO, but his UPN relationship, I respected it because it lasted a test of time.
No, he does not. He doesn't. He the only reason why he played, because he wasn't good in war. He was not a good. He was not a good player at all. Like I mean, like he needed help with his economy. He needed help with the military. The only thing he wanted was power and to like just cuss people out. Like he didn't like the game. He just wanted to be. He just wanted the attention. Like it got to a point when I became foreign affairs of Mensa that all of our allies would talk to me and not him.
Caden's definitely still around, people say, but doesn't say who he is.
Is Radovenko still around?
Are there any people who play anymore? I think Rosalia still plays.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's under a secret account.
Interesting.
But I think he doesn't make his insane posts anymore because he doesn't want to get caught by Alex. I also
Surprised
think
by this,
who was that guy that left for TKR that joined Syndicate and then was like working backroom deals with MPO and Black Knights? Who was that guy?
Oh, Kinesian.
Kaiser. Yeah, Kaiser. I think Kaiser still plays.
Sorry, yeah, Kaiser, not Kinesian.
Or-
Kinesian was a good guy.
Kaiser was
Kaiser.
still playing at the time when MPO existed. I don't know if he still plays now though, but I'm pretty sure he. Yeah.
I am willing to wear that tinfoil hat that Kaiser is a scapegoat and there were bigger and more people involved in whatever shit he did. I am willing to wear that hat.
Okay, so with that,
Let me interrupt. I'm just gonna head out.
That is true to some extent, Abbas.
You guys have a good night. I gotta go.
Hey, you take care,
Good night.
Pre. Thank you for joining, man.
Later.
Because I got to go in just a moment too. With Kaiser, like, so basically, from what I gathered, and I may be wrong because Partisan will probably correct me on this. Partisan gave a layout for what Syndicate should do before he went to like pseudo retirement or whatever like that. And Kaiser went into like he followed that, but he went way too hard with it, and it got to the point to where that the backroom deals that he was making with MPO and BK were starting to get like a bit too much. Because Syndicate at the time did not want to work with MPO and BK, but Kaiser was trying to supersede that and force them into working with them. Now, I could be wrong on that, but that's the logs that I got back in the day because I had someone posted their Discord and like that to me.
I think
But Partisan,
Partisan
if I remember
actually.
correctly, I had a conversation with Partisan about it, and Partisan said that was talked about, but it wasn't planned for. So he must have like taken that step to make it a plan instead, and probably misunderstood what Parson was trying to lead.
I think you're giving a lot of leeway to Partisan here because I think he was actually hired for the job to create a back channel with NPO because Partisan was not trusted by Requinton.
It could be. I mean, like you could be completely correct on that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Also, I remember the conversation that when he was in TKR, I remember the conversation you both like I had personally with Lordship, and that the logs I got of you and Sketchy having with Lordship. I saw those logs, and I did not share my logs, but I saw your logs, and I can tell you that Lordship was using the party line when he was having a conversation with you, and with me, he was saying like how like he's put into a difficult spot and how like all this is happening around him and all that. I don't think Lordship was involved in any of this, but I think there was a deeper discussion in FA at some point, and Kaiser was like following a certain parameters and directions that would happen.
Wait, hold on. Where's Lordship coming from on this? Because
because this Kaiser's NPO buddy shit happened before he even joined Syndicate. He had got the trust of Quentin back in the day when he was the government of TKR.
Ah, man, I miss Fraggle. I really miss Fraggle. Thank you for the comment. Does Cynical still play? No, I don't think Cynical still plays. I think he got chased out. He caused there was like some big controversy that he got involved with. I'm trying.
Yeah.
It wasn't multis. It was something else. What? Oh wait, no, it was
OC. It was OC, and we shouldn't talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. I got you. Oh wait, there's a cap to 50 nukes. Oh, that's terrible.
The score was capped to 50 nukes, so that's why Fraggle's
poor Fraggle. Oh man.
That was such a stupid thing to do. Also, like, why? Like, now that people in upper tier cannot get nuked because of people keeping nukes.
Oh man, poor Fraggle. I don't blame her leaving then. I keep meaning to because I have 3 laptops since I played Politics War, and I keep meaning to get them all together and get all the logs from the IRC chats to Discord chats and get them all together. Because I think it would shine light to a lot of the history of the game. And honestly, I think a lot of us old players, like me, you, Parson, Pre, a lot of Kegos would be a good one. Eleanor, Adrian. I think a lot of us old players that have been involved in some of the major wars, it would be cool at one point to just dump everything out for all the players who don't get to do the backroom stuff to see how things operated throughout the game. I got to figure out how to work on that because I really want to do that because I have a fuck ton of logs. All right, Abbas. All right, listeners. I got to go. I got a softball game to go to because me being 40 years old, I'm too old to play baseball. So I get to go into the old person's league and play some softball.
Yeah, man. You're 40 already?
I'll be 40 in October.
Damn.
I look like I right now I look like fucking Doctor Strange, like the way how I have my facial hair shaped and stuff like that, and the white that's in my facial hair. It's pretty fucking awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening in. I will post up another time, and I will have some more guests. And we will go through some more questions that viewers have left with the new guests once I reach out to them. And we will go through some nostalgia as well, once again. As usual, this Great Fire show is mostly just for bullshitting and for just casual talking and just enjoying the game as it is. And for some of you new listeners who haven't been around as long as the old timers have been, to listen in on this. And hopefully you guys